Welcome to Fitness Made Easy. My name is Dhaval. I'm your host today, and I have a special guest today, Dr. Nisha. So this is a unique platform where I bring Bangalore's best fitness trainers to help you with your fitness and your journey in fitness. So either you're a beginner or you are an upcoming trainer, there's a lot of things that you can get out of this. So stay tuned and we'll uncover a lot more details about how we're going to help you here. So if I have to talk about Nisha, she is a physiotherapist, so doctor by education. She is a certified personal trainer. She is a dancer, choreographer, and many more certifications like yoga, and I'm not going to count all of them because we may actually end up just talking about certificates if we do that. So without wasting so much of time, thank you Nisha for coming in today and welcome to the show.
Okay.
Alright, so to start with, tell us about your journey into fitness. From physiotherapy is what you studied, becoming a trainer, dancer. So how did all this start? When did it start?
Okay. So I was studying my physiotherapy from KIMS, and it so happened that in our syllabus in the very first year we study a lot of human body, what it is made of, the structure, muscles, movements. And I used to study these things at college. At the same time, I used to work out at the gym. So that's when I really started my own fitness journey. So I used to work out at the gym and I used to relate to what I used to study at college. Oh, this is what I studied. Oh, this is the movement. This is the muscle. So that created a lot of interest towards movement as such, studying everything about movement. So I just discovered that I have a lot of interest for this. So that's how I started studying more about, I was more inclined towards movement sciences, biomechanics and all that. And then it so happened that I met a choreographer, founder of Shadows Dance Studio, Gokul, and then he got me into dancing, teaching dance. And then my dance studio used to be vacant weekdays, Monday to Friday. And then with this inclination towards fitness, I started teaching group fitness classes at that dance studio. So thanks to the opportunity, because the space was available, I just made use of it. So that's how I started, and then I thought, okay, I'll set up, make it, call it something, and things like that. I took a loan for myself to invest on the equipment and all that we needed. So I took a few lakhs of loans, and then I used to study, go to college, study some certifications side by side, and take classes to repay my loan. This is how I started Body Edit, right?
Wow.
Okay.
And when was this?
This was in 2015. I was in second year.
You were in second year, you took the loan, started your own studio while you were studying.
Yes, I started Body Edit when I was in second year physiotherapy. And then the journey was like that. College, take classes, teach. So I was like working half the day, I was learning half the day. It was good, all 5 years. And then we had to move to a bigger place. And then by then I cleared my loans, I had to take another loan because we had to expand. And that's how Body Edit is happening. That's how I got into fitness. And somehow, physiotherapy, I think it has a lot of role to play in the field of fitness. So I often see that people think physiotherapy is just about fixing the pains or coming and making people move at the bed at the hospital. It's much more than that. I think physiotherapy is about teaching how to live, right? So you can actually discover many areas in it and then pursue one of it. So that's what I did. So I was not very keen on continuing clinical practice. So I wanted to do something like educate trainers in fitness. So something like so that's why I chose fitness as my career.
Okay.
Right?
That's interesting.
That's how it started.
So now that you've talked about physiotherapy, how you started, if you have to define fitness for yourself or for others watching, what is fitness according to you?
So I think very well, it's very different for each of us, right? So depending on what you're going to do. So if I'm going to dance, right, if I take that as an example of my activity, so if my fitness would be defined as what makes me better at that, better at the dancing, or injury free and safe, right, at dancing. So that would be fitness to me. Like if you look at somebody who is doing a desk job, like not being let's say not ending up with some lifestyle diseases or stress factors and things like not getting pains in their joints, preventing these things would be fitness for that person. So whatever makes your lifestyle comfortable and injury free, so that is fitness to you. So that is why I think we cannot just blindly follow somebody's fitness protocol, somebody's fitness routine, and it should be supportive to our job and our lifestyle.
So if somebody is following you on Facebook or Instagram, they just can't look at what you're doing and copy the same thing. It won't help. Is what you're saying?
Yes, and also each person is at a different stage in their journey of fitness, right? So somebody is just starting, somebody has been working out. So it's not ideal to just look at what somebody is doing and just do that for yourself.
So now, as you said, it is different for everybody, and for somebody who's watching who doesn't know. Now you know why it is different. How do they find out what should they do?
Okay, so that is where a personal trainer comes into play. So that is what a personal trainer does, right? It's to identify what is your need, right? So what is the kind of job you're doing? What is the level of fitness that's required for you? Like let's say you can talk about how much movement from the joints you need in your job, or how you can prevent some stagnant rusting of your joints, things like that. So that is where a personal trainer comes into play. So if you are wondering what suits you, you should go and meet a personal trainer. That's the best way.
So yeah, look for a personal trainer.
Yes.
Tell them what your problems are or what your goals are.
Exactly.
And they will be able to better guide you and help you define fitness for you. So that's what Nisha has
Also,
to say.
there is a lot of misconception that personal trainers, I don't know, somehow it's like personal trainer is always behind you, annoying you, pushing you to take PT at the gym. So I think that's just the funny part of it. But there's a lot of value that a personal trainer can add to one's fitness routines, right? So that even that should be looked at. And now things are changing. It's not just about converting you to take PT, and it's much more than that. So people are getting educated. So I'm sure they can provide better service.
So what you're saying is, when somebody comes and tells you that I'm going to give you a personal training, it's not just for him to make money.
Exactly.
It's actually good for you, so that they can work with you, identify your problems, and help you put that in place.
Exactly. There's no other person who spends that much time with you if you look at the whole health professional team. Right?
Yeah. So, one of the things which is very different from the other trainers that I've actually spoken to, you coming from a medical background of physiotherapy, and a lot of work that medical practitioners do is what we call it as, post-injury or post-trauma or post-illness. It's reactive care.
Correct.
Now, fitness becomes proactive and preventive care. So, your journey from being educated to do reactive work, now you doing proactive work, preventive work. How do you kind of relate, or how do you take that?
First of all, I'm very glad that you notice it, okay? Because it's a hard task for me to explain to people why I study this, why I choose to do this. So like you said, but during my internship at KIMS, what I would see is all the conditions that we were treating were all a result of bad lifestyle. Don't you think so? It's just people were not born with these issues of joint issues, joint pains, or any chronic diseases like your diabetes, hypertension, all of this. So it's just coming because of lifestyle. So I thought it makes more sense to look at them after getting that disease than to just be there as a part of their lifestyle. Teach them how to live. I thought that makes more sense. That way we can reduce the number of affected people in the population, right? So I thought that this area is not being much addressed. So there is a gap to be bridged. There are fitness trainers who are teaching clients who are healthy, apparently healthy people. And then there are doctors treating someone who's diseased. So we need to fill this gap wherein we need someone in between who can teach people how not to get a disease. Right? That is what we call as preventive medicine, right? So this was one of my subjects when I studied the course. So that is how I found more interest in teaching people how not to get chronic diseases, teaching people how to keep their joints and muscles healthy. So that's how I chose this, preventive medicine.
Yeah, so this is one of the topics that normally people don't understand. Gym, exercise, and fitness routines are not just to build muscles or for athletes as performers. It's actually for common people like us who sit, do their work, help them live their life better. So the fitness community as a such, it's actually a preventive care community. It stops you from going to doctor or kind of reduces the number of times you have to visit a doctor. So that's the big difference, and people actually fail to identify, or even a lot of trainers, we ourselves fail to identify or put that message across and say that we are doing preventive work. So good that you also brought that out. So when you started this, you talked about you just wanted to experiment whatever you learned, you wanted to try that, so you worked at the gym. Is there a particular motivation that you had, or what motivated you to start this journey?
Start the journey of
Fitness.
Being my personal fitness, or
both. As a trainer, or first you started as a
okay.
member?
My activity was mostly dancing. So I used to be a professional dancer to perform for stage events for about 3-4 years. So what happened is we used to dance for 3-4 hours in a day. That was our practice like for the shows. So, and often people think that dancing is exercise. So you giving me this opportunity, I would really like to address that dancing is not exercise. So dancing is a skill. It's entertainment. It's something that you do for fun. So by default there's activity, but that's not exercise. So if I have to maintain my fitness level to be able to perform, here dance is an example. So I have to do something on the strength, stability component, which is very important. So without which obviously any of us would end up with injuries and all that. So that need was created, and so I would I didn't have this much clarity about what is strength, what is stability back then in 2015. But I just felt I was a better performer when I was working out.
You kind of discovered it just you tried it and it started helping you, so you kind of kept working on that.
Yeah, so that's how I slowly discovered okay, this is what was missing in dance, and this is what I'm doing now. That's why I'm able to dance better. So dance is an example. This applies to any of your sport. So that is how I started working out for myself. And then teaching, like I said, since there was opportunity, there was space, and there were people coming in. So I just took up like a small group of people, started teaching, and then slowly it became a commercial thing.
Okay, nice. So what you're saying is dance is a good fun activity. It can be part of your fitness routine, but that's not all.
Yeah.
That's not everything. You've got to look for strength, stability, and the other parts of the fitness routine as well.
Right.
Okay, good. Thank you. So, in your journey, like from somebody who was just a student, from somebody who wanted to start training people, now you're training the trainers, right? So you've come a long way through. What are the biggest challenges that you have faced? What do you face?
Okay, so I think teaching a push-up, teaching a squat, this is the easiest part of a trainer to do. So what is more difficult is to get people started, or to address to this need for a fitness routine. Also, by, like you said, by a fitness routine, I don't mean only coming into the fitness club, spending that 1 hour of time. The way of living, quality of life, right? So their lifestyle. So that is mostly my area of interest. So teaching that is actually the hardest task, right? To teach them why it is important to make a healthy choice. Right? Forget about executing it. The need for it is the hardest task that I see.
Just creating that awareness that there is a need itself is the biggest challenge that you face.
That is the biggest thing. I think for every trainer, that is the hard part.
True. So, while you did that, and I'm sure that you've already spread a lot of awareness, do you look at somebody as your role model, or do you look up to somebody and try to say that okay, this is how I want to be?
So I get inspired like this when I look at very simple people. Like, see, there is a granny at home. She's like 102 years. So these are the kind of people who inspire me. You'll be amazed to see her strength. So I always think about what could their lifestyle be like. Right? What is the kind of food they would eat, and their habits. I try and observe their habits, their choice. and all that. So these are the kind of people who inspire me, and also these people who physically work, like people who construct buildings, someone who is doing a lot of physical work. You should like observe them. We all crib, that I need so much money to enroll at the gym, or I don't have money to buy this nutritious food, I can't afford dry fruits, and these are the kind of things we crib about. And I really get inspired looking at these simple people, how they're making use of everything that's around them. It's just that they're efficiently making use of opportunity to live, to move. Though it's a part of their job, and then they don't crib about not having something as a part of their nutrition. So those are the kind of people who inspire actually.
So what you get inspired by, or the message that I get from what you said, is that rather than looking for that perfect routine, perfect diet, perfect supplements or any of these things that you're looking for, just making the best use of what you have is most important thing.
Yes. Don't you think so? Definitely. We have access to everything. We just don't want to make a better choice. That is the problem with us.
So this is where one of the quotes that I use when I kind of train clients and work with them. I said, start where you are, do what you can, and use what you have. It need not to be looking at Nisha's routine. Okay, I don't have access to this equipment. I don't have access to this kind of food. I live in a different place. I don't get this. So these are things that, yes, if they're available, we
Much
use
better.
it. Yes, better. But it's not 0 or 1.
Exactly.
There are a lot of different options in between which you can make one small step at a time. And that would kind of help. So
that's what applies to exercise as well. You don't have to have like an expansive TRX everywhere. Like you have floor, you have stairs, you have a table, chair. You can work out anywhere you want. That is what is the skill that we try to develop in these personal trainers, right? So try and do whatever you can with whatever is available.
True.
Right.
Thanks. So now, talking about routine, what kind of routine do you follow?
Lifestyle, you mean to say?
Yeah, a complete routine which includes your recovery, your nutrition, your exercise.
Okay. So right now, if you look at my schedule, my physical activity is mostly happening during the weekends because I'm teaching like 3-4 batches of dance classes and then one of this theory class for the trainers. So physical activity is maximum during the weekend. So what I try to do is on the weekdays I try to split my only strength training because I'm doing a lot of cardio kind of work in the weekends. So I try to split my strength training for about 3 days of the weekdays and recover the other days. Right? I really feel the need to do that on the off days. So that's how I split my workout, and mostly I prefer stability and strength based exercises. Something which will stabilize your spine and then give you some movement from the hands and legs. That kind of exercise is what I generally prefer. And if you look at the rest of the lifestyle, it's not like I don't eat anything or don't go out, eat outside and all that. Just make a healthy choice out of whatever is there. I just prefer, make a healthier choice. I think that's the simplest way to follow a good, eating habit instead of stressing too much over, what am I eating? Let me carry a box everywhere. So I think that's what I do, and I give a good importance to sleep. So I make sure I get about 7 hours of sleep every day. Yeah, that's how it is.
So I think you've summed it up really well. So you have made sure that you do your strength training and cardio. So for people who are listening, she takes a couple of days off from the workout in a week, which helps recovery. She also talked about sleep, which is the most ignored part of fitness, which I believe people don't talk about it much. People talk about how many reps, how many sets, what to eat, but sleep is something people usually don't talk about. So I'm glad you brought the recovery and sleep part into it. And from the food choice, so you don't have to give up your social life or your life in order to stay healthy. You can eat outside, you can have your social life. Just make the best possible choice from what you have. So that's what I get from it. Alright. So thank you for that. Now we'll move into the next section, and this is especially for people who want to get fit, who want to start their journey. So first things first, why should somebody be serious about their fitness?
Okay, see, this is something that I thought about during my internship, like I said. So the number of people who are ending up with these lifestyle disorders, improper glucose tolerance, or the blood pressure is never stable. So these are like some basic things that we need to consider if you look at quality of life. So if you need to be productive at work, I think we have to be fit and healthy and mentally also fit at the first place, right? Only then I can give some productive, quality at work. So that is one main reason people have to consider fitness and to prevent the lifestyle diseases. This is my area mostly, prevention of chronic diseases. So that is by making sure you keep a watch on your food intake and activity levels. It's as simple as that. That's what our ancestors did, right? Nothing very complex. Just keeping a watch at activity level and their food intake to make sure that they don't invite all these chronic diseases unnecessarily, right? Because once you end up with a disease, it's very difficult to not depend on the medications, because you have one side your doctor is telling you to take these medications, and the other side your fitness trainer is telling you you have to do this exercise, and you're not able to, and you're suffering with a lot of side effects of these medicines. So that's like a little messed up situation. So that is why I would like to work more in steps much before that, right?
Before you end up with this, start the fitness routine.
Very much.
Rather than, so what you're saying is, if somebody has a lifestyle disease, they have it because they're already stressed. They go to doctor give them medicines which probably will have some or the other side effect, so they are more stressed. And they come to people like you or me, and we put them onto a particular routine, and they get even more stressed because of that. So rather than getting into the multiple layers of stress, start early as soon as possible and prevent.
It's very difficult to reduce the number of medications that you're taking. So once you start taking medication for your chronic diseases, it only keeps adding up. I'm sure everybody is related to this. It only keeps adding up.
Yeah, true. So what should be the first step? Now I heard you said go ahead and do it. I want to do it. What should be my first step?
First step is to watch your need, like your activity level, and is it suitable to the kind of work that you're doing. So it's mostly relate your lifestyle to what work you do, right? That identification people need to do first. And when they find it hard, okay, how can I increase my activity level, or how can I watch my is what I'm eating sufficient for my body? These things are where the professionals come into play. Right? To start with, I think people should start with lifestyle modifications rather than going to a gym and start lifting the heaviest you can. So I think often people think starting a fitness routine is about how much you can lift. So that's not the only criteria, right? It's fixing your lifestyle, living a better routine is the first step to do. And then you approach somebody to guide you regarding exercise and nutrition, it makes sense. So without fixing the lifestyle, you try and invest like 30-40K a month on your nutrition and exercise, doesn't make much sense.
So how do they start? So you said, modify your lifestyle, make changes to your lifestyle. So how do they know what is the problem?
Okay, they can probably check if their sleep cycles are regular, right? Are you sleeping and waking up at the same time every day? So that it also signifies how good your hormones are working, good in sync. And then they can watch, are they eating at the right time every day? Or are they, without their knowledge, just skipping meals? Or are they can observe if they're being too sedentary for long hours of the day and try and add some, walking around that in between activity of the day. These are the small things that anybody can start doing by themselves, right? And like we discussed, making healthy choice of food. These things they can start doing, and then for further assistance is when professionals come into play.
Okay, so what you're trying to say is try to sleep or at the same time and wake up at the same time. That's the first choice or change. Second, what you're saying is if you're sedentary or working in front of PC and laptop, which most of us do, so just get up every few minutes, walk around and come back, do some activity. And with respect to food, try to make healthier choice. And when you say healthier choice, how would you define what should they do?
Okay. See, this is what how I look at it is like this: that the food that is closer to nature is simply that you have to choose, right?
So whole foods is what you're
Whole
saying,
foods,
unprocessed or minimally processed.
unrefined, very much. So all the kind of packaged food that we're getting is very much processed, and of course, so somewhere I read this is very funny that the packaged food, even the bacteria doesn't want to live in it; it's dead, and then we want to eat that. So it's absolutely not living food. So it's good to choose something that is living or close to nature. So not like we can directly pick up plants and eat when we're out somewhere, but something that's less cooked, less processed, and less less addition of flavors, something like that would be a better choice.
So minimally processed, as minimal
processed.
as possible. Now, if you don't have a choice, that's fine. But then, whenever you have choice, you pick that
Definitely,
one.
yes.
Okay. All right. So this is good. So what if they don't like gym? A lot of people say that, yeah, I want to do this, I want to lose weight, do this. I don't like gym.
I'm happy if you don't like gym, because there's so much need for exercise out of the gym, and you get into the gym only with a purpose, right? So when the purpose of this client is to build muscle bulk or really increase the strength to such an extent that you need heavier load than your own body weight, that is when you need the gym. But if you look at general population, a very small percentage of people actually have this kind of need. Most of the people, what they need is to just become more stable, more movement from their joints, and more active. That doesn't require a gym. You just need like a little bit of area like this where you can move around, do a mat maybe. So you can do a lot of things even without access to a gym, right?
So 4x4 or 6x4
Yeah,
area
it's
is
more
good
than
enough
enough,
to
yes.
work out.
And you have your own body weight.
Okay.
Right, you have your own body weight. The heavier you are, you have more weight to push.
Okay, so heavier you are, lesser need of gym is what you're saying.
Yes, that's very true. I like that. That's very true.
Okay. So they just go out, walk, do some body weight workout on the mat, floor workout, and that should be it.
Yes, that is what most of us need, body weight exercises. And to progress from there is when you need the gym.
So one of the typical questions, especially for people who are starting, right? So when people start, there's a lot of motivation, there's a lot of push, there's also sometimes a lot of need that I have to reduce my weight quickly in order to go from pre-diabetic to normal. And in that case, people want to push themselves, push their limits. So how can they exercise without getting injured?
So that is what we mostly teach personal trainers, in the course. So how to progress someone without injury. Safety and effectiveness is what we look at. So whatever the trainer is teaching has to be safe, number one. Number two should be effective. So that way, so how this program goes about is use your own body weight. So initially the client has to be doing something that is non-weight bearing, not by bearing weight on the joints. Free movements. Free movement is number one thing to start. So here we are making sure that there's no load on the joints. So even if the client is heavy, so he's not going to aggravate his joint conditions and things like that. Next, we're going to move to body weight exercises where he can comfortably carry his own self in his daily activities. Right? We don't want this heavy person to bend, lift some bag and then just catch his back, get injured like that. So we're training him to how efficiently to carry his own body weight through other activities of the day. Right? That is number two. And then we look at adding some weight and weight bearing exercises like heavy squats, deadlifts and things like that. So with this progression, generally there will be no injury encountered. So injury happens when the client is pushing the trainer. So the client doesn't allow the trainer to teach him, but the client himself teaches the trainer, this is what I want to do first. This is what I want to do next. This is when the problem arises. And it becomes very difficult to communicate for the trainers and try to make the client understand it's not safe for you. Right?
if you are the client who's going to go and work with the trainer, please don't tell your trainer what to do. Listen to him is what he said.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so listen to your trainer is what Nisha is saying. Trust your trainer for some time. Assess whether it's working for you or not. Then make your decision. So at least give your trainer 2 to 3 months to give you results, which is where the slow progression comes in,
Yes.
right?
With the exposure that social media is giving, a lot of people just want to start jumping around, jump on boxes, do battle ropes, everything the very first day. So I understand that it's fancy, it's exciting for them, but at the same time, it's our responsibility to make sure that you're not hurt. So I think this is the main reason why you have to cooperate with your trainers.
Yeah, and so if you are a trainer, again, as she said, it's our responsibility to tell people, educate them in a right way, and make them understand that this you can do it, you may want to do it, but let's give it some time so that your body is conditioned to do that. Right?
Exactly.
All right. So thank you for that. So when it comes to exercise, one question starts: at what age should I start? So is there a particular age at which people can start, or anything of that sort?
Now, by exercise, what do you mean? Is my question.
Exercise is a routine, a fitness routine, a program.
Okay. So I think, I also have about 10 years, 12 years badminton players coming to me for posture corrections and exercise and all that. So what happens is, that's because they're playing. You see that? So if there's a need, let's say the kid has to play a sport, then definitely he needs fitness training. Right? Because the trainers know how to maintain his joints, not to encounter some postural changes or some kind of impingement or some kind of strain. So the trainers or the rehab person will actually make the kid fit to play. So often what happens is kids are only playing their sport, and their fitness, by fitness I mean your stability and things like that are not addressed to. That is when they come with like weirdly shaped foot, weird knees, weird shoulder positions. So that's what is happening when they're only training. Because when they are, this applies to mostly kids who play, any sport, football, basketball, or they play badminton, cricket, whatever. So the coach is trained to teach them the game. So similarly, they need somebody to teach them exercise. Right? That the parents of kids who play need to identify the need for this. So
I think interesting point, because as we are getting aware as a society, and a lot of people know that they have been sedentary, they're sending their kids to a lot of different sports and activities. And what we mostly see is A is going for cricket coaching or football or whatever. So that's exercise, that's movement. It's definitely better than not doing anything. But if they are training regularly, they need to look for the other part of the fitness, which is strengthening and rehab for them, so that they don't have chronic injuries. Is what you're saying.
Very much. This is the same that applies to dance. This is the same that applies to myself. The performance is not exercise, like I said. So the more we dance as dancers, the more the need for strength training, right? So if I just sit all day long, then the need would be probably much lesser. But if I'm dancing, it doesn't mean that I'm already doing exercise, already doing movement. The demand for strength that I'm creating is much more.
So especially for all our Zumba trainers and dance, Bollywood dance trainers.
Yes. It's hard for them actually. It's very hard for the cardio trainers because they are dancing for like 2 hours, 3 hours in the day, and then it will take time off and do their strengthening. But there is definitely a huge need, right? There are trainers who are squeezing in time doing that, and they do see that it is very beneficial. Right?
Good. Thank you for that. So now moving to the next section of what would be your message to upcoming trainers or people who want to pursue fitness as a career? See, somebody like you who's actually, so a lot of people listening, if you are in physiotherapy or somebody who is still doing something else, they want to jump into fitness as a career. So what would be your advice?
So I feel that there's huge need for fitness professionals with the kind of population that we have. Everybody needs somebody to guide them about their lifestyle and nutrition and exercise. So there is huge need. So I don't think we can provide that kind of service. So that is the need that is there right now, at least in Bangalore. So what if you're at the stage where you're considering, okay, is this something that I can also do? You can definitely do it. I think you should go find a source of education where you can learn something about movement science and nutrition science and things like that. You can always teach people. So there's no lack for people around. I think so. Everybody around us needs it, right? So there is huge need. You should go ahead and take it. And I see in the near future, this is only going to increase. The need is only going to increase because the lifestyle and technology is only the technology is only deteriorating our lifestyle, unfortunately, though it has its own advantages. So I think we have to pick up our habits to compensate to that, right? So there is a huge need, and especially somebody who's studying the human body or studying how it functions should get into teaching fitness, right? That's where you can actually provide some quality in the fitness industry.
Yeah, so if you're studying physiotherapy or you're already a physiotherapist, yes, please come in and become a fitness trainer is what Nisha is saying.
A lot of college students, they can actually do this side by side, instead of just wasting that. That's what I did during my college. So instead of just whiling away time post-college, you can actually pick up 1 or 2 hours, learn something about exercise and things like that. Maybe 2-3 years down the lane, it's going to be very useful, right? You can make it a parallel source of income. That's how I look at it. 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening you spend on this, and then it's giving you an additional income. Maybe it suffices your pocket money initially, and then it could become a saving for another investment. So a lot of things can be done.
So a lot of business and finance lessons, because somebody who's taken a loan in the second year of college to build a studio, I think you should contact her if you want to do anything of that sort. That needs guts, really.
I also had a lot of support by my dance team and all that, so I must mention that.
Sure. So nothing happens without support. So all our friends and family do help us, and we don't see that in front, but yes, you alone cannot conquer the world.
And one more thing I'm really thankful about is that generally the parents have a lot of expectations from the children that my child has to do this, my child has to work at that place. So I didn't have any of that kind of pressure from my father. So that is one of the biggest advantages I had. He never told me, this is what you have to do, this is what you have to study. No, he just left it to me. You choose what you like to do. I think that is when we'll actually be interested in our job. Otherwise, I'm doing something that you like. So obviously, I will not excel, right?
Yeah. So parenting lessons 101. Don't force your kid, and if you're a kid, try to do things that you want to do,
yes.
rather than doing things which has been forced upon you. So really, good insights. The last couple of things that we got to know. So, if people want to follow your work, want to contact you, how do they contact you?
I think most people now have access to Instagram and things like that. So I am Nisha_body_edit on Instagram because that's my company, and on Facebook I'm NishaSharma. Yeah, you can find
They
me
can
there.
follow you and get in touch with you if they need any help with fitness education.
Yes, definitely.
Sure. So, last one, whatever we talked about, for a trainer, for somebody who studied, who's a physiotherapist, a lot of these things look easy or simple. For people who are on the other side of the world, who never tried working out, who are watching this, want to do it, how can they really make it easy and simple? If you have to kind of sum it up, make it really easy and simple, how do they do it?
How to make fitness easy.
Yeah,
and
simple.
So make it a part of your day. That's the thing. So it shouldn't be like going to the gym, working out is stressful. I have to go to the gym. So that kind of a startup will not probably last for long. So choose something that you like to do. You choose an activity that you enjoy doing, right? So that way you'll probably stick on to doing it for a longer time, or maybe find company which you enjoy going to exercise with. That could work. Or start with the simple things. So don't try and do everything at once. Like in nutrition, that's always totally split your diet chart and give a new chart and follow this from today. Such things will really put you off in a week, in a span of a week or two. You'll totally like, oh, forget it, I don't want to do anything. So don't try and do too many things at once. Make one small lifestyle change at a time. It's more than enough, right? It takes about 20-22 days to make a thing a habit. So first achieve one. That way you're making this change for lifetime, not for that month or that week, right? So that way make one change at a time and slowly keep adding up to it. That way you will not feel like too many things are disturbed in your routine, right? So I think that's a better way.
Good one, and thank you. So last one, before we close, so we are at the end of this. Do you have any questions, comments that you want to share for me or with me or anything else, the audience?
I don't have anything to ask, but I want to say that you're taking a very good initiative, because a lot of things don't come into picture, right? And like we're seeing, there are so many people out there wondering, what can I do in the field of fitness, right? So maybe something that one of us have done could guide them somehow and make them more confidently take a step, right? So this is how it was when I started, okay? People were like, oh, what are you going to do? And what are you going to get teaching these group classes and all that? That experience is so useful for me even today. So when I teach, I always go back there 2-3 years back, how it was to be a trainer. And that is how that insight is very important to teach. So somehow it's going to be useful. So they have to probably, I would like to tell people, make use of the opportunities that you get. Anything, it could be small, big. Don't think about, oh, I studied this, why should I do this? And that's nothing like that. Everything is value addition, right? So we have to make use of all the opportunities, and you are bringing those things into light. That is the thing. That's the best thing over here.
So thank you. And the real message to people who are listening, if you are the one who is looking for any kind of help, people on the show are coming in because people want to help you and help everybody get fit. So if you have to reach out to any of us, please feel free. We will try to help you best as we can to help your journey into fitness. It could be somebody who just wants to start and don't know what exercise to perform, or somebody who wants to become an instructor or a trainer. Reach out. We are more than happy to help out to you. So you can reach out to me or any other experts which are in this show. They are more than happy to help you with your routines. So having said that, thank you very much for joining us today over here. Please share your questions, comments, feedback in the link below. We will try to answer them. I'll get Nisha to answer the questions that you ask here. And many more experts are going to join me on this show. So stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you soon. Thank you very much. And thank you, Nisha, for taking the time.
Thank you for having me here.
Thank you.